at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers at 301 South 5th Street. Hopefully we will use our wise words tonight and not April Fools, because it's April Fool's Day. At this time, we'll have our invocation by Justin Benefiel from Fellowship General Baptist Church. And if you'd like to come forward, please. Is that door locked in the back? Is it all coming in this? Yeah, come to the microphone. And if you all please rise. Thank you very much.
If you'll pray with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for this moment in time. Lord, that we can gather as a community, and Lord, that we can do business for Poplar Bluff. Father, I ask that you would be with each and every individual in this room, Father, that wisdom will be used. But Lord, most importantly, wisdom from you in deciding things for this community, Father. Lord, help us keep our community in mind with all things that happen tonight, Lord. Father, we ask that you would be with our public servants, our firefighters, and our police officers, and any that I haven't mentioned, Lord, that you will be with them, you will protect them. Lord, you'll allow them to see the need of this community. Lord, we just thank you so much for this incredible privilege that we have to gather together as the community of Poplar Bluff. So, Father, it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. And if you all remain standing, we'll do our Pledge of Allegiance led by Richard Deason from Amvets Post 29. Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service. Good.
Commander Richard Deason, Amvets Post 29. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, we'll have roll call. Ms. Kirby?
Councilman DeGaris.
Here.
Councilwoman Horton.
Here.
Councilman Cornman.
Here.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Black.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Here.
And Mayor McVey.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Kirby. Item 5, disclosure of interest. Any member of the City Council may disclose any possible conflict of interest dealing with either any item on the printed agenda or any matter discussed at a previous meeting. Seeing none, at this time we'll have our citizens' input. Each person in the audience may take this opportunity to address the City Council on any matter which is not on the printed agenda. My first guest tonight will be Mr. Curtis Hinton. We have a 10-minute limit, and we'd also ask you to give your name and address for the record, please.
Curtis Hinton, 835 County Road 488, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. My concern is our dog walking ordinance we have here in town. We have several different churches here around town, especially close to the council center here. We're having a problem with dog defecation in front of our churches. I want to know if there's an ordinance for dog walking to take care of this problem. It's definitely disheartening when you have your members coming to the church and coming inside the church. They either step in or step over dog poop. This is beginning to be a problem. I have walked the streets for both churches, First Presbyterian, Brown Chapel, Holy Cross. The residents that live in this area are letting their dogs do their business in front of our churches. Wow. So that's what my main concern. My second concern while I'm here, the old Frisco Railroad track that run between the meat company on Oak Street, all the trees are overgrown. For 20 years, I've watched those trees grow, and there's never been a city crew down there to clean those old Frisco tracks up. Now, that's not public property, it's private property, city property. Something needs to be done because we have all type of animals coming through there at night, and you get snakes and so forth. We got an array of cats. So if the council could address that for me, I would. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Massingham, may you want to address those both issues?
Yes, on the dog issue, I mean, we do have a leash law. They have to be on a leash. I'm not sure about the other, but I'll certainly check our ordinances and see what I can find out about that.
Well, you have the same people coming into the
Okay.
area. I've seen, I thought not to talk to them. You know, they may disarray saying your dog, but respect for your church, and its own holy ground should constitute respect. And that's not given to any of the churches that I've seen. You know, we got it vacant lots here. You know, you have a dog walking park. And, you know, these things should be covered by that. Or the city could levy a fine if have to care hooper scooper with you. You know?
I will talk to the Animal Control Department
Well,
about it
could I give you
tomorrow.
my phone number and address?
Sure.
You can call me back. It's Curtis.
You want
Hinton.
to, you want
Yeah.
to, are you okay announcing it, or would you
Yeah,
like to
I
just
don't
write
have
down?
no problem.
Okay,
Everybody know me anyway.
okay.
778-4859.
And it goes right along with our theme of trying to clean up our city, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. Actually, no one else has brought this forward yet, so those are two new items that we need to work on getting cleaned up.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Didn't matter. Okay, at this time, I'm going to present a proclamation, and if Michael Turner would like to come forward from Great Circle. We are very fortunate in our town to have, Great Circle in our area. Than 40,000 children and families that you service, I think, abused children and domestic issues. And we're very proud of them being a part of our community. And I'd like to read the proclamation to you. Whereas the members of the city of Poplar Bluff are always pleased to recognize those events which bring credit upon our community. And whereas April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, and each April, the city council joins medical, social services organizations, and concerned citizens throughout the United States to share information about programs and services to promote positive parenting practices and protection of abused and neglected children. Whereas Great Circle is one of Missouri's most comprehensive behavioral health organizations, serving more than 40,000 children and families each year through 18 locations across the state. Whereas Great Circle has been serving families in Poplar Bluff, Donovan, and the surrounding communities since November 2017, expanding the efforts of Ozark Family Resource Agency, and now providing emergency shelter for children in crisis situations. Whereas Great Circle's Ozark Hills Child Advocacy helps to increase child safety by addressing issues of abuse and neglect in partnership with area law enforcement agencies, social service organizations, healthcare professionals, and judicial system during traumatic times. Whereas Great Circle's Women's Crisis Center in Donovan provides emergency housing for domestic abuse victims and support as they rebuild their lives. Whereas in the recognition of Great Circle's dedication and commitment and expertise in helping children and families overcome life's challenges, April 5th, 2019 is therefore proclaimed Great Circle Day in Poplar Bluff. Now, therefore, I, Susan McVey, Mayor of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, do hereby proclaim April 5th to be Great Circle Day in the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and urge all citizens, community agencies, faith-based organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to join with Great Circle's commitment and increase their participation in the efforts to increase child safety, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live. And witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to be affixed this 5th day of April 2019. We'll have the celebration on Friday, but we wanted to present it at our meeting tonight. Thank you. And this is one of the great things I get to do. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate you very much. Okay. Did you want to say something? We're ready for our workshop items? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I skipped Mr. Jones. I apologize. We're still in the citizens' input. Would you like to come forward? I apologize. My papers got shuffled here.
No, you're busy. Nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Your Honor.
I had good stuff to tell. I couldn't hardly wait.
Thank you, Your Honor, for allowing me to speak. Spencer Jones, 316 Short 5th Street, Poplar Bluff, Missouri. I began thinking about the best way for us to accomplish what we need to do, because in meetings like this, what can happen is we could come here expecting you all to do certain things, and the bottom line, in order to get something done, there has to be responsibility and accountability. For instance, when I pastored in Chicago for 38 years, I served as a beat facilitator for the Chicago Police Department. I ran a community beat. And once a month we had these meetings when people would come and they'd bash the police. And I didn't allow that, because what they would do, come and do it and go back home and do nothing. So I came up with a plan of action. I said, hey, maybe this will work here, because, you know, we need to be held accountable, all of us. Is that each month we need to get a report from you guys of what you're doing, and we can give you a report on what we are doing. And so therefore we are making progress. In other words, we know that we have a goal, but if we don't have an objective to reach those goals, we're at the end of the line, we've done nothing. And that's frustrating and disappointing. So after the last meeting, I went out to the Three Rivers College to talk to the people who run the criminology department and the people who run the fire department, to find out that they have Afro-Americans in those departments. Well, the guy who headed up the police department, he was shocked to know that he didn't have an Afro-American. He couldn't believe me. I said, sir, the facts are there. That's real. Order on. And also, I got the phone number to Lincoln University in Jefferson City, and also Southeastern University in Cape Girardeau. And also this week I'm going to Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri. And there's another university called Drury University. And investigate, do they have Afro-Americans in those, in the police and fire, that, first of all, they need to be aware of the opportunity. There's an opening, there's a need, and that kind of thing. So that's what we will do. The next time I come back here, I'll give you a report. But at the same time, it works both ways. You know, we're partners. In order to get things done, there has to be, and I don't like talk, you know, is that I would always tell the people, I serve two beats, don't come here and just talk, let's do something. Mm-hmm. And my prayer is that we don't come here and just talk about what needs to be done, that, hey, we got a job to do, order on the black community, order on. We have to get the information out, get the people here to you. But at the same time, you guys have a responsibility to make sure when that opening comes, and not only that, can you imagine if that Three Rivers got a call from you guys saying, you know what, we are looking for Afro-American candidates to be policemen and firemen. How the impact? That has far more impact than me going up there, although I represent a nonprofit organization that has an impact. So I just wanted to sort of to outline the approach, because as I begin to think, it's that, you know, I just don't want to, we don't want to come up here and just be said whatever you guys are. No, whatever both of us done. And so the next meeting, I will give you an account of what we've done. And I will also ask for you guys to give account of what you guys have done to fill this hole. Is that fair?
Sounds fair.
All right.
We actually don't have an opening yet, so we still don't have an opening. But
okay, that's basically what I'm not talking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, have you informed these colleges, or have you gone to African American churches? Are you taking steps to let the people, intentionality? We go back to intentionality. Well, Duke has a good basketball team. Alabama has a good football team because they are intentional. And if we are intentional, we get the job done. Order on. So that's what I'm talking about. Are we clear?
Any questions
Mr.
from
Mark?
the council? Is the council clear?
No, I did talk to Mr. Jones a couple of weeks ago about the Three Rivers has a job fair, and contacted the police department and the fire department, and turned out they actually go to that job fair every year and have been for several years. So, of course, we will be there again this year. So.
Good. Good. Well, that's the kind of progress that we like to hear, because we're not going anyplace, and the number's going to keep growing, but we want to make progress, and that's all we're saying. All right. We love you guys. We'll work together. Wherever I go, wherever I go, I work with people, black people, white people, but I'm not going to sit here, waste my time, and talk about what needs to be done. We're going to get it done.
Thank you for your time. Okay, my printed agenda was different than my computer. So that's where I got ahead of myself there just a little bit. That's okay. Moving on to workshop items.
Item BB on the voting session, the contract between the police department dispatchers and the city. There's been some questions raised this afternoon about the contract, and it's something I really need to answer in closed session. So I would suggest that we table that voting item till the next meeting, the second meeting in April.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Baker? Yes. We'll need your name and address for the record,
Mark Baker,
please.
International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 702. I live at 2064 Green Ridge Lane in Jackson, Missouri. With all due respect to Mr. Massingham, we finished our final negotiating session with the city on January the 9th. It's been well over 2.5 months since that meeting. I'm aware there's been 4 consecutive council meetings for workshop items and voting session items. I know you've had a problem getting a full council together, but with all due respect, we've completed our negotiations and we'd like to have a vote on this issue tonight.
That decision will be up to the council.
I understand, but I'm making my request to have this voted on tonight.
All right, thank you.
I make a motion we comply with the city manager's suggestion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second to table item BB and the action required items in section 9. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It'll be tabled. Thank you. Okay, now back to our workshop items for discussion. Item A, the City Council will review recommendation from the Municipal Utilities Advisory Board regarding bids received on the wastewater treatment upgrade project. Mr. Massingham, Mr. Bach.
Mr. Bach is here. There's also representatives from Smith and Company and the low bidder, Brock Miller. I know at the last meeting there was concern over the bids, and I think there's still some concerns with some of the council members. So I guess I'll just kind of open it up and let.
Let's start with Mr. Bach and Smith and Company. If the representatives would come up here to the microphone, just so that we can have it all recorded. And that way we can have open discussion with our council first, and then if we need to invite somebody else, we will. Questions from the council for Mr. Bach regarding this item? No questions from the council?
I don't know if I have any questions. Bill, you might just review that for us again very briefly about, one, what it is. Oh, I think we're all on top of that. But particularly the requirement for the low bid and the process that it moved through with your Utilities Advisory Board. A little bit background.
Sealed bid.
All right.
Maybe that would help.
Okay, so in 2012, the citizens passed a $20 million bond to issue security monies from the State Revolving Fund, or SRF, to pay for these upgrades that we're required to do with DNR. In 2015, we reached a settlement agreement with DNR to implement the upgrades to the plant. These will have to be made in order to meet the new regulations imposed by DNR. In January of 2019, the city went out for bids on the project. At the last meeting, you were all given a copy of the bid tab, and the low bid was Brock Miller Construction. After talking with the city attorney, counsel from St. Louis that we've used on other utility matters, the council even said unless we have a valid reason to kick out a bid, it's a valid bid. And neither the engineer nor myself see a problem with the bid. This was discussed at length at the advisory board and would recommend the low bid be awarded to Brock Miller Construction out of Farmington, Missouri. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the council?
I actually have a question for Mr. Bell.
Question for who?
For who?
Mr. Bell's here.
Who?
The engineer, Mr. Bell?
Bill Cobb.
No.
Greg Bell.
There he is. I'm telling you. Yeah, he's right behind you. One of the concerns we have is we do not have an updated engineer's estimate for this project. And that's kind of one of the things that's kind of slowing the process down. We don't have anything to compare the actual bids to. Once we get that, I think it would make a world of difference. And Mr. Massingham also has some written questions that he's going to be sending Brock Miller to go over, and we'll answer some of the questions that we have in writing. And I think we're getting closer to, some answers here. But as of right now, I'm going to motion that we table this item.
I second.
I have a motion and second. I was not expecting. And again, are you sure? Thank you, sir. Are you sure you guys want to do this?
We have to 2021, the way I understand it. There's no rush. I mean, this project has been in the works for 12, 15 years. Like I said, when we tabled it last session, that I thought we were going to have a little extra time, but we've got them both on the session again. We really just need a little extra time. I don't see any major issues coming up, but all we're asking for is a little more time to go over it, and let's call the question.
Mr. Councilman Cornman, we've had 2 weeks to go over this, and the new sitting council coming in will not have the privilege of having the background to this, and so that's why I put it on the voting session tonight. I felt like it was important to keep it moving with those that have been involved with it for the past few years.
Madam Mayor, apparently there are some questions regarding this, and I'd say for the,
well, let's
I'm
discuss
not an
it.
engineer, but for the sake of excellence in the best interest of the city, I think we should do everything to make sure that things are the way we want them to be as owner of any contract here for this project.
I see what Mr. Cobb has to say.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis, I'm looking out for our tax ratepayers also, because we are required to take the lowest bid, and if we do not take the lowest bid, our ratepayers will be paying more, and I am looking out for our citizens.
I believe we, Mr. Shane and myself are as well. I just think these are
Let's discuss these questions now. We have Mr. Billy Cobb from the
Let's call the question, please.
We're in discussion, and I'm running the meeting. We're in discussion now, so let's continue the discussion before we vote.
Billy Cobb with Smith & Company at 901 Vine Street. The only thing I was going to add is one about the engineer's estimate. I mean, we did one early on, and we just did it. We just basically did inflation, and then also, I mean, with the bids are so close. I mean, there's no debate what the bottom value is. I mean, it's not like that we have a big spread. That would be the first thing. And then the second thing, as far as timing, the only reason that we would push it for timing-wise, I agree with you, it's been going on for a long time, is who's to say how long the low bid can hold? Because by the contract or by the bid proposal, it's only good for a certain number of days. Right. And we cannot award the contract until we have a loan closing. Okay. And so there's more time beyond this as far as approvals, as far as timing. And so his bid is only good for a certain amount of time. And so that would be the only.
And that time frame would be what?
I think it's 60 days. 60?
65?
Yeah. 60. I feel like we can come to a conclusion in
60 days, but then the loan closing costs, or it takes approximately 30 days. Is that correct? Yeah.
When Brock Miller receives these questions via email and we get the answers, I have a feeling that we can move forward with this. I don't have enough information to vote on this at this point.
I don't know what the questions are, but I mean,
can we discuss the questions here now?
Brock Miller is going to receive them in writing. We're going to get them back in writing.
Okay.
This is the first I've heard of this. Is it something we can address tonight?
I mean, we can ask some of the questions that I have. I mean, but we're still going to get them back in writing. So it's not going to accomplish a whole lot. That's.
We also have our state money that could be at jeopardy and could set us up for a lawsuit.
We're good for several years on that, 2021. And he said as long as we get this done within 60 days, I don't see that being an issue. Once we get the questions back, we can move forward.
This is him.
Mayor.
Would you like to come forward?
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Or
yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead and come forward in just a minute. Yes, go ahead.
I feel like this came through the Utilities Advisory Board. I think it has come through the engineering company. We've set it aside one time. And now then we're wanting to set it aside again. I think that we have moved along far enough, and I think we need to move it forward, would be my opinion.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's just take the vote. That way we'll.
No, we're still going to be in discussion. And so would you like to introduce yourself and we need
Yes,
your
my
name
name
and
is Bill
address?
Giesing. I'm with Brock Miller Construction out of Farmington, Missouri.
Do you have an address?
14 North Middle Street,
Thank you.
Farmington, Missouri.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Bill, could you repeat your last name? I'm sorry.
Giesing, Giessing.
Thank you.
And your questions, Mr. Councilman Cornman?
Does everybody have their bid tabs, or they can bring them up?
I do. I'll share if somebody doesn't. I think we have them in our packet. They're just small.
Okay.
Do you all need one? You've got his, okay. Barbara, do you need one? Okay. All right, I think we've all got a larger version.
Mr. Gissing, do you have the bid tabs in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's see, on line item 34, brand new 175 horsepower blower includes equipment that meets the contract specifications, right?
Correct.
I believe you guys have an estimate
What line's he on?
of, let's see here, $5,000 to repair those. Is that correct, reconfiguration?
If I'm reading 34 correctly,
Actually,
it
that
looks
would
like
be 30, well, actually, we're on 35. I'm sorry about this. 34 for the new and 35 for the reconfiguration.
that's correct.
Okay. You have $5,000. You're saying that you can replace those for $5,000?
Those two figures included only the labor for installation of the blowers, or in the case of item 35, which is for the modifications of the three existing, that's just the labor to remove the existing ones and reinstall them. The value of the actual blowers themselves in line item 34, or for the modifications in 35, that cost is all in the line item, I believe that's 28, the $8.7 million number.
Okay,
That was
so-
all contained in one bid from Ressler and Associates from Lemco. I did not have the itemized breakdown for each of those individual line items. They're all contained in that one line item.
Okay. Okay, on those line items 34 and 35, if we were to change the quantity and say we don't want to reconfigure those for $5,000, but we would go ahead and like to have 5 new ones for $5,000 a piece, would you be able to supply the city at no additional cost those 5?
At no additional cost?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a line item for $5,000, that's what I'm saying.
Correct. Is that something that is being anticipated? It
Well, we don't
wasn't ever
know,
part of the.
but the owner has the right to change quantities, as you know.
If there's a compelling engineering reason for that, and I don't know that there was, because the project was not bid with new blowers as an alternate. I don't know that that's part of the consideration at this point in time. As I've discussed, that number includes only the labor for those blowers. So if the question was asked whether I would provide additional new blowers for the 5,000, I would have to take that under advisement if that was an engineering imperative that we were looking at for the project.
So you would have to reevaluate, basically?
I would have to assess that, yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see, on line item 29, on the mixers, I believe that's correct in my notes. If it becomes necessary to install additional mixers as part of the project, can the contract quantity for line item 29 be increased without request for additional payment beyond the contract price of $1,667?
I'm sorry, sir, is that the same question? Would I provide additional mixers for the 1,667?
Line item 29, yes. Could you provide additional?
Again, as similar with the blowers, as I mentioned, all of the items that are part of Lemco's quote,
right,
all of those items are the cost for the equipment themselves is included in my line item 28. the $8.7 million. I
Okay.
didn't break out the
So-
individual.
Okay, so you didn't actually bid on the line items. A lot of it you put back into the lagoon floating covers, which is line item 28.
I had a single number from Restler and Associates, who's providing the equipment, that included all of those pieces of equipment, and they are all in that line item 28.
Okay, so pretty much you got a lot of your bid covered in one line item out of the 43. Is that correct?
All of the equipment associated with the lagoon
Right,
covers,
right,
yes, and the aeration system.
All right. I don't think I have any further questions on it. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Any other questions?
And it's my understanding, again, the low bid that you are bidding, the sealed bid, that you will do the project for what is quoted here,
Absolutely.
regardless if something has to be shifted around. You're still saying that you'll do it for the bottom line that's saving the city almost $1 million.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, I think you answered my last question. So you don't anticipate any change orders at all?
Not unless the scope of work were to change. We're very comfortable with our bid, and we'll perform it per the specifications and the plans.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we do have a motion and second to table this item. Is there any other discussion amongst the council? Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak along this discussion? Again, remember, it's been approved by our Utility Advisory Board to go forward with it and move. We'll call for a roll call vote now.
Councilman DeGaris,
No.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
No. A no vote says that we do not want to table it.
right.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
No.
It's 4-3 vote to table.
Unfortunately, item A has been tabled. Item B, the City Council review recommendation, Municipal Utilities Advisory Board regarding a third amendment to the agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and Westar Energy. Mr. Bach?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The only change to this agreement is the expiration date, and the new amendment will end on March 31st of 2020 and then continue on a year-to-year basis unless or until terminated according to the provisions of Section 5.2 or 5.3 of the original EMA agreement. This was discussed at an earlier advisory board, and I recommend the approval of this. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Bach? I'd entertain a motion and second to move item B of the voting session to be held on April the 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Or second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, the City Council will review recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve request for conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 450 Highway 53. The applicants are Bob Sutton, property owner, and K-Mac Engineering Firm.
Thank you,
Mr.
Madam
Winters?
Mayor. Yes, ma'am. As she stated, the applicants Bob Sutton and K-Mac, they're requesting a conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 450 Highway 53. It's a location of the new Taco Bell. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this request, as does the Planning Department. The applicant is ready to get started construction, and because of that, they are asking that this be workshopped and voted on in the same evening by the council. And if you have any questions.
Make a motion, we pass the voting session this evening.
Second.
Motion and second to move item C to the voting session to be held tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, the City Council review recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission to approve request for conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 1301 West Maud Street. The applicant is the Lunchbox Deli and Bakery, care of Amanda Wolfram. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Mr. Winters?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again. She stated that the applicant is the Lunchbox Deli and Bakery, care of Amanda Wolfram. They're also requesting a conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages. This is actually the former Ozark Country Market that was on the east side. They've moved to 1301 West Maud Street, which was the last location of Roland Stolen. Again, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this request, as does the Planning Department. There was some miscommunication, or I guess better, lack of communication between the Planning Department and Ms. Wolfram. She is open, and because she is open, she has requested that this be workshop and voted by the council this evening as well, so she can start using her drive-through window now that she's open for business at this new location. And there was a prior conditional use permit issued to this at this same location to Roland Stolen when they were in business as well.
Make a motion to pass it to the voting session tonight.
Second.
Motion is second to pass item D, the voting session to be held tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, the City Council will review resignation from the Housing Authority Board and review applications received from the remainder of this board member's term, for the remainder of this board member's term. I believe you have those in your packet, and if you have reviewed those, I would make a motion. I'd like to have a motion and second to move this item to the voting session to be held on April 15th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to our action required items. Bill number 8131. The City Council will take action on ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute an agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and S.H. Smith and Company, Inc. for the engineering services for the 11th Street Bridge reconstruction project.
Motion for first reading of Bill 8131.
Second.
Motion and second, first reading of Bill number 8131. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute a contract for professional services between the City of Poplar Bluff and S.H. Smith and Company for engineering services relative to the South 11th Street Bridge project.
Move for second reading of bill number 8131.
Second.
Motion and second for the second reading of Bill number 8131. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri to execute a contract for professional services between the City of Poplar Bluff and S.H. Smith and Company for engineering services relative to the South 11th Street Bridge project.
Motion for adoption of Bill 8131.
Second.
Oh, we have a motion and second to adopt Bill number 8131. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby.
Councilwoman Horton.
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilman Black.
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
Bill number 8131 has been adopted. Item BB has been tabled to come back at a later date. Item CC, Bill number 81. Do you change the numbers? 33? The City Council will take action on ordinance authorizing the mayor of the City of Poplar Bluff to execute an amendatory agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and Southwestern Power Administration to include provisions for scheduling peak energy to make scheduling more flexible.
Motion for first reading.
Second.
Motion is second for first reading of Bill number 8131. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendatory agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the Southwestern Power Administration relative to the scheduling of peaking requirements.
Move for second reading of bill number 8133.
Second.
Motion is second for the second reading of Bill number 8133. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an amendatory agreement between the City of Poplar Bluff and the Southwestern Power Administration relative to the scheduling of peaking requirements.
Motion for adoption of 8131.
Second.
Motion is second for adoption of Bill number 8133.
33.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman Cornman,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
Bill number 8133 has been adopted. Item DD, Bill number 8134, the City Council will take action on an ordinance accepting a bid for financing equipment for the Street Department and authorizing the mayor to execute said documents with the Bank of Missouri.
Motion for first reading of 8134.
Second.
Motion is second for the reading of Bill number, first reading of Bill number 8134. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2 backhoes and accepting a bid for financing said equipment for the City of Poplar Bluff Street Department.
Motion for second reading of Bill 8134.
Second.
Motion is second for second reading Bill number 8134. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2 backhoes and accepting a bid for financing said equipment for the City of Poplar Bluff Street Department.
Motion for adoption of 8134.
Second.
Motion is second for adoption of Bill number 8134. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
Bill number 8134 has been adopted. Item EE, Bill number 8135, the City Council will take action on an ordinance rezoning properties from RS2 General Residential to RA2 Apartment Residential for future multifamily development. The applicant is W. Dean Million and W. Dean Million Revocable Living Trust Agreement.
Motion for first reading.
Second.
Motion is second for first reading of Bill number 8135. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance rezoning property located at 2646 Crestwood Drive in the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for second reading of Bill 8135.
Second.
Motion is second for the second reading of Bill number 8135. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance rezoning property located at 2646 Crestwood Drive in the City of Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for adoption of
Sec-
8135.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of Bill number 8135. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
Bill number 8135 has been adopted. Item FF was tabled. Item GG, Bill number 8137, the City Council will take action on an ordinance approving a taxi cab license for Joshua Counts and Jason Longhibler doing business as JJ City Cab.
Move for first reading, bill number 8137.
Second.
Motion and second for first reading of Bill number 8137. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance approving and authorizing the issuance of a taxi cab license to Joshua Counts and Jason Longhibler doing business as JJ's City Cab in Poplar Bluff.
Motion for second reading, bill number 8137.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second for second reading of Bill number 8137. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance approving and authorizing the issuance of a taxi cab license to Joshua Counts and Jason Longhibler doing business as JJ's City Cab in Poplar Bluff.
Motion for adoption, bill number 8137.
I have a motion. Do I have a second for adoption of Bill number 8137?
Second.
Motion is second for adoption of Bill number 8137. Is there any discussion?
I'd again state the vehicles that they are using and the age of the vehicles, I think, are not conducive to a good image for Poplar Bluff, and therefore I will not be able to support it.
Okay, we'll call for roll call vote, and you can voice that. Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman Smith,
No.
Councilman Black,
No.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
No.
Mayor McVey.
No. So bill number 8137 has not been adopted, and the roll call was 3 yeses and 4 noes. Item HH, bill number 8138, the City Council will take action on an ordinance approving a request for conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 450 Highway 53 for a Taco Bell restaurant.
Move for first reading of bill number 8138.
Second.
Motion is second for the first reading of bill number 8138. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance granting a conditional use permit to Bob Sutton Jr. and K-Mac Enterprises to permit the use of a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 450 Highway 53 in Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
I need a motion and second for the second reading, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance granting a conditional use permit to Bob Sutton Jr. and K-Mac Enterprises to permit the use of a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 450 Highway 53 in Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for adoption of Bill 8138.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of bill number 8138. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis,
Yes.
and Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
Bill number 8138 has been adopted. Item II, bill number 8139, the City Council will take action on an ordinance, approve a request for conditional use permit to operate a drive-through window for sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 1301 West Maud Street for the Lunchbox Deli and Bakery.
Move for first reading of bill number 8139.
Second.
Motion and second for the first reading of bill number 8139. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance granting a conditional use permit to the Lunchbox Deli and Bakery to permit the use of a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 1301 West Maud Street in Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for second reading.
Second.
Motion and second for second reading of bill number 8139. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Richardson?
An ordinance granting a conditional use permit to the Lunchbox Deli and Bakery to permit the use of a drive-through window for the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages at 1301 West Maud Street in Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Motion for adoption of 8139.
Second.
Motion and second for the adoption of bill number 8139. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
And Mayor McVey.
Yes.
7 yes votes.
Bill number 8139 has been adopted. Item JJ, the City Council of the City of Poplar Bluff will meet in a closed meeting in which they will discuss such matters which are exempted under the Opens Meeting Law, Section 610.021.1, .2, .3, .9, .11, .12, .13, and .14 RSMO. And do I have a motion to move into closed session?
So move following the city manager's report.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Kirby?
Councilman DeGaris.
Yes.
Councilwoman Horton,
Yes.
Councilman Cornman.
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Black,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Davis.
Yes.
Mayor McVey.
Yes.
We have 7 yes votes.
We'll move into closed session after our city manager's report. Mr. Messingham?
Yes, I just wanted to, if y'all get a chance, if you'll drive up the 800 block of Poplar Street. We had a house there that was donated to the city several years ago, and we actually sold that late last year. Somebody has bought it, went in and remodeled it. Right next to that was a burnout house that had sat for a couple of years, and somebody completely renovated it. It actually looks like a brand new house. And then the house next to that, a local realtor bought that house and completely renovated it, and it actually looks almost like a new house. The city did some work on the sidewalk in front of those houses, and just wanted to give you an opportunity to drive by there and look at it. It just made that whole side of the block look so much better. And, 3 really nice looking houses now. There's still a couple in the street that use work, and actually I drove down that street before I came here, and there was a derelict vehicle on the other side that wasn't there the other day. So anyway, it's just, you know, some efforts by some local people that making our neighborhoods look better. And also, we're getting ready to work with code enforcement. I know Sykeston and I think Dexter does this. When code enforcement writes up a piece of property for a code violation, whether it's junk or needs mowed, they put a sign in the yard, and we've come up with a sign, and I've just got 3 copies. I'm just going to kind of pass it around. This won't be the actual size because you won't be able to read it from the street, but here's kind of what it looks like. So.
Show it to the camera. Again, it sounds like you're making great strides in cleaning up our city.
We are trying. So.
Very good. I'm going to remind him of Bluff Up the Bluff.
Bluff Up the Bluff is April 13th.
We also have an election tomorrow. I chose not to run to renew being on city council. I've thoroughly enjoyed 15 years of service with the city, and this is my last full meeting as mayor and as a council person. So I just want to thank you all for your entrusting me to do this job. I want to thank my mother for coming. She was at the first one, and she's at my last one. So we appreciate you all very much. Anything else to come before the regular meeting of the council? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.